Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Emmy. In today's video, I'm going to show you what I've done for a semester. So the second course that I'm going to talk about is Chinese Delineative Painting. So these are like some of the drafts that we have to practice, and it's actually these kind of drafts are actually more simple, but for the final work, you're gonna make things more complicated, but not more complicated, but maybe on your own. So maybe the results or the final outcome is like this, and like this kind of thing. Yeah, just for a kind of like impression for you guys.
去到咁上下，跟住咧就用水筆稍稍折一折。咁啊，畫完呢個就畫跳一個畫，提防佢即係滲咗過隔離。
So actually, the Chinese delineative painting, those paintings that I made at the end were not really good, because that course I changed it to pass or fail grading, so I didn't really put that much hard work on that course. So yeah, it's just so hard for me to balance so many courseworks in just one semester, especially like 3 studio art courses. So because most of my Chinese delineative paintings are not at my home, so I would put the pictures right here and to show you guys here. For this course, we have to learn how to outline the very fine line jobs and also how to color for that. So I feel like Chinese delineative painting is actually a little bit like watercolor, but using the more like a Chinese pigment. And our school, the professor, what the course we teach us is actually teaching you using the more like a traditional pigment. I think nowadays most of the Chinese delineative courses like outside are actually teaching you how to use the pigment like kind of like watercolor. It's like a tube, but for us it's like powder something. You have to mix the powder using another kind of like medium to mix the powder, and use your finger to like mixing it and to make the pigments. So it's more like traditional Chinese pigments. So it's actually quite rare, even our professor said that. So the next course is actually very hard and very difficult. So for the mixed media course, I'm going to look at my phone because I will show up the work here. So it's actually kind of hard to talk about mixed media this course, because I think I'm not eligible or very appropriate to talk about this. And I genuinely feel the professor who taught us was very, very crazy, and she is so good. And she is just made me mind-blowing. Everything she told us in the class was actually so inspirational, and I didn't thought about that before, and I just don't know how to deliver the message just throughout the camera, and maybe I can't explain in this video. So the first work is actually based on physicality, and we have to discover the material itself, maybe like the physicality of it. So it's actually hard to explain because it's not something that I can explain in a very short sentence. So the physicality is actually talking about form and space, scale and proportion, gravity and balance, physicality itself, and mass and volume. Also finally is texture. I think mixed media discourse is more like an installation or something. Every medium or every media in this world are actually related to physicality. They also both have their characteristic in physicality. Like when you throw a jelly to a wall, it's just gonna fall down because of the gravity itself. So I think the course mixed media, it's teaching you how to use artist language to present your work. You have to think clearly about every steps that you wanna go for presenting a work. So maybe everything in your work, they have meaning, and other thing cannot replace the functions of probably maybe a material, and the material itself is really relevant to the message you want to bring. And probably, for instance, like this material and this material, they're different material, and how to deliver your message like in a more appropriate way using the right material. So mixed media is not something just maybe like collage, putting different media into a single artwork. It's not that easy. It's more like how you think, how to conceptualize your work and how to present it in the right way, in the right location, in the right setting. Everything has a reason. So the first work is physicality, as I mentioned. And actually throughout the courses, we have so many small practice exercise, but I don't want to show it here. It was really trash. I mean, my artwork were like trash. Under the artwork one, which is physicality, we have to make. I tried to attempt to do the artwork for twice, but the first one I didn't have that picture, so I'm not going to talk about that one. So I'm going to talk about the second attempt. So the second attempt, I don't want to explain too much, so I'm just going to show up here. And that's very simple. But for this one, I have to admit that I made that in not a really serious mode. So that was pretty bad, to be honest. Maybe it can show physicality, but it's just very more like appearance from the more like outside, how you look at it, but not really considering all the stuff, all the things, all the material that you chose. What's the relationship with them? What's the kind of association between them? So the second artwork we have to make is spirituality, like a roll of paper. And I tried to copy the diaries that I wrote when I was an exchange student in America, and I copied like so many pages from that diary, and I tried to make a paper of it. What I was thinking is actually not really associated, and the message, like the dots, cannot really connect it together right now, I think. So this work is more focused on the diary that I wrote, because I mean, the best moments in my life was actually studying abroad and being an exchange student in the States. And that time already faded away. At that time, what I was thinking is diary itself is more like a closer thing to your soul, but the toilet paper is just paper. It's more like the body is more like the very appearance part with your body. So when you use a paper like the toilet paper, you're just gonna touch it, and it's more like a physical touching and physical connection. But for the diary, it's more like a soul and more spiritually, and that's like very naive thinking. And the professor just said so many times for my work, just focusing on the appearance, more like surface part, but not really deep down, and you just can't make people feel resonate. And that's how she said my work, and I really, really agree. And I genuinely feel like, is it the thing that I want to make? Yeah. So the third thing, I make it as an installation. I am not going to say it's an artwork because I just didn't do it very seriously. So for this work, I use a more thinner iron wires to make it as an installation. I want to make a fence in the hallway. I try to duplicate the fence I saw outside. So usually the fence we saw outside is like circle, right? It makes people just don't want to step closer. The work itself is actually want to talk about the relationship with me and my dad. I just want to talk about how not close our relationship is, because like when I was very young, like I didn't talk that much with my dad, and so I just kind of feel like we are like a stranger, and there's like so many distance between me and him. I want to set up the work on the aisle because the aisle is like a very endless tunnel. For me, I can never reach the end. So that was like, I can never reach the heart of my dad, and I cannot never build a more closer relationship with my dad. But in fact, I didn't see any solutions into this artwork, and I feel like it's kind of pointless. So for the last work, I make a video. I want to express my sadness and all of the other emotions that I have. And I was always like thinking about the past. And it's actually not really good for my mental health. And I just really want to stop thinking about the past, want to think more about the future. So this work is actually the extension from the diary work. And at the end of the video, I try to burn my diary. I just want myself to put down all the emotions that I have and focus in the future. And I just don't want the past to stick to me too much. So these 3 studio art courses were actually half of the courses that I have to take. I already feel like so hard and so stressed. My brain just sucks and just can't think. So my artworks were really bad. I have a lot to learn. Yeah, I really hope guys will enjoy today's video. Maybe it's like a more random and I talk bullshit a lot, but I really hope you guys can take something else from this video and help you, or maybe it's kind of like inspire you in some way. And so that's it for today's video. So I really hope you guys will give a thumbs up, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.